We're with SPU women's basketball head coach Julie Heisey, coach of the Falcons, getting ready to start the season already. Here we are at the end of October. Exhibition game at Seattle University this Saturday coming up. Coach, you've been in practice for a couple of weeks. You got to scrimmage a little bit. What have you seen out there so far?
Well, I'm going to clarify. We haven't quite had 2 weeks of practice. I'm thankful our first game isn't for a little while, but it was great to have a scrimmage yesterday, and it'll be good to have an exhibition game. I think we see typical things. You see lots of things that you're like, oh, we're doing better at that than I thought. And then there's other things like, okay, we don't quite understand our defensive rules yet. But no, our kids worked hard over the summer, and there's no question individually, I've seen lots of improvement, and collectively, a lot of it is just timing. And that comes with playing and practice and getting things reps at game speed.
It's not often that a coach in any sport has almost everyone back from the previous year, and you do have that this year. Just your thoughts on that. People who know your system and know what you expect of them.
Yeah, we do. And I think we do have almost everybody back, but it's a little bit unique in that our roles are different because we had several girls that were hurt last year. Even Riley and Carly, they played the whole season, but Carly didn't get to start practice until Thanksgiving because she had a stress fracture in her foot, and Riley had a surgery and missed 6 weeks, and then we had 3 kids redshirting, so it's a little bit different. Even though we do have we have 14 returners, which is a lot. Not everybody played last year, and I think that is different, and so there still is some catching up to do, but at the same time you can definitely tell the returners, they understand what we're doing, and they're on it. And the ones that are coming back, for the second year, conceptually they understand it, but maybe they're just not getting it every time, which is normal for this time of the year.
Okay. And among those 14 returners, you've got a lot of kids who are either have started a lot or are good potential starters, and just some thoughts on that kind of depth.
Well, I really believe that we should have a lot of depth this year and versatility, because we do have a good experience with people that have started. Stacy and Hannah and Bree have played a lot of games, and then Courtney and Jordan, even though they're just coming off sophomore seasons, they've played a lot of games, and then Jaylee, I think started for us last year. So we have a good core back that brings good experience, and you can tell there's a confidence there that maybe I didn't see a year ago, just because they've had more experience and they understand what we're doing, and they've been in the roles they've been in, and they're more comfortable.
And I know you're very excited about your 2 newcomers, Maddie Hingston and Haley Bennett. Talk about them a little bit.
Both girls. We had a really good recruiting class, and both are point guards, but probably both won't play point guard this year because I think it's very difficult for a freshman to come in and have to figure out how to lead yourself and try to lead the team.
Okay.
And so they're working into that position, and Haley's played more point guard than Maddie, but both can do a lot of things really well. Maddie is very, very athletic, and she can really shoot and rebound, and I love her passes in transition. She just does a lot of good things on the break. And then Haley, I think, just is a natural leader on the floor. She has a really nice pull-up jump shot, and she's very aggressive and just has a great understanding of the game. And so it's fun to have 2 really good freshmen come in.
Good. And in addition to some new players, you've got some new coaches on your staff. Mike Simonson,
I do.
Alexa Dawkins, of course, Sasha Anderson is back. How are the 4 of you blending together, just like your players early in the season?
We have change is always interesting, but change doesn't necessarily have to be bad. And, we've lost good coaches, but I think we're very fortunate to bring good people in, and everybody's eager and excited. And, both Mike and Alexa have come from good programs where they've had great learning opportunities. And then Sasha, of course, just has an understanding of what we've done in the past, and she knows our players, and that's really valuable too. But, yeah, I think we're having fun.
With this particular team, Julie, is there an area that you see as a real potential strong suit for them?
This sounds kind of crazy because it's not a skill, but it's an attitude, and I think we really want to be coached. We want to do things correctly, and I think we're cohesive, and I think those are all great things. I've really enjoyed that when I make a correction or we have to say, this is what we got to do better, that there's just really good responsiveness there. And I think that starts with our leaders. I think our seniors, Courtney and Bree, and I mean not Courtney, Stacy and Bree and Hannah, all they want to make the most of their senior season. And Rachel didn't get to play last year, but she's always been very coachable. And then just our sophomores, they're now juniors, Courtney and Lindsay and Erica. And I think that makes it really easy because they want to come in and do the extra things, and they really want to be great. And I think that's a fabulous attitude.
And on the other side, is there an area where you and your coaches are really emphasizing that, hey, ladies, we have to step up our game in this area or in that area?
I mean, obviously, we've done a lot to work on our offensive production because that was an area that we struggled with last year. But this time of the year, and I mean, really any time of the year, it's defense and rebounding that's going to win a lot of games, and that's what you have to count on every day. And so we're focusing a lot on that.
With a couple of exhibition games coming up, what kinds of things as a coach do you look for in games like that?
Well, in some ways, scrimmages are nicer than exhibitions because everybody gets to play.
Okay.
And you get more than just 4 quarters. But we need the exhibition games, I think, just to have game-like experience. And so I think it's just good to go over into a situation where there's people in the stands and you're in uniforms and you have a little bit of that nervous flutter.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to kind of play in front of people and play when there's a score. And it just makes it as close to real life as possible. So, Seattle U is going to be really different because they have new coaches. Their assistant coaches, the Gleasons, came from Humboldt, and they've played us a lot the last few years, so they know us pretty well. We haven't played Cal State East Bay for several years. That's where Susie came from. So, it'll be interesting to see kind of what their system will be because, we're not going to have the luxury of being able to scout a system.
Right.
We can scout players. They're going to know us. They can scout us a lot easier. And then George Fox, I mean, they're always really, really good. They were in the national championship game 2 years ago, and I'm assuming they're going to press and do some things differently that we don't always see in our league on a consistent basis. I mean, obviously Anchorage presses, but I think that'll be good for us too. And they just, they're well coached and they compete hard.
Once again, some very challenging non-conference games: Azusa Pacific, UC San Diego, Humboldt, even Nova Southeastern coming all the way up from Florida for a tournament. Just your thoughts on some of those tough non-conference people on your schedule?
Well, to be honest, I haven't looked that far ahead. I mean, I know they're there, but I think we have a good schedule from the standpoint that it's nice to have some familiarity, and we get to play at home this year. Last year, we started off with 5 games on the road. And so those California teams are always really good opponents for us. And UC San Diego, you mentioned them because they have a lot of people back. They're really hard to guard. And last year, that was a hard matchup for us. I don't know a lot about Nova Southeastern except for I know they're good. But I like that. We need to have a really good game, a tough team, I think, with national tournament experience before we get into the conference play that starts in January.
And how about that conference? How do you see that stacking up this year?
Well, our conference is going to be very, very good. I think there's a very fine line between winning and losing. And I think just like last year, those top 7 teams are going to be very close. And I think just who can be the most consistent in their effort and taking care of the little things every night is going to prove to be, a big part of who wins. Because there's not going to be a lot of margin of error. We saw that last year. You got to be really consistent. And some of it's just staying healthy. But, I think we have a lot of really good teams with a lot of great players back.
And finally, what's your coaching gut telling you about this team? What is this team capable of doing in the long run?
Well, it's a little bit early to tell them that just because I think that we have the work ethic and the desire, and I think we have the talent to do some really good things. But I think right now, just because, we haven't even had 2 weeks of practice, I think it's still hard to even know what to completely expect because I think we're just, how do I say it? We have a lot of people. We have 16 players on the team, and just trying to give to play certain rotations together. We're going to learn a lot in these next 2 exhibition games by putting people on the floor and having them play extended minutes together. Whereas in practice right now, you're trying to make teams more even, and you're separating maybe some of your returners and starters just to make sure that everybody gets better fast and it's not one team dominating all the time. So I think we're capable of really good things, but I also know that we just got to get better one day at a time. And each week we got to be able to say I'm better this week than I was last week on Friday. And I think if we do that, we'll see some really good things.
All right.